Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're digging into a really fascinating breakdown of the 2026 laptop procurement guide today. Honestly, the insights we're about to cover are going to completely shift your mindset. We're breaking out of that trap of chasing flashy, marketed specs and figuring out how to perfectly match a laptop to the actual multi-year job it needs to do. Let's get into it. So here's the core, kind of surprising premise we're starting with. Most people buy laptops completely wrong. I know that sounds bold, but the data and industry trends absolutely back it up. The standard way we've all been taught to shop for tech is fundamentally backwards. Marketing departments have practically trained us to hyper-focus on all the wrong numbers, and it's leading to early hardware failures and, honestly, a ton of wasted money. We literally agonize over these marketing distractions, right? We sit there debating an Intel i7 versus an i9 or an RTX 4060 over a 5070, but real productivity looks completely different. It's wild, but a mid-range business laptop will very often outperform a high-end consumer laptop in the real world. Why? Because of the stuff they don't put on the billboard. Better cooling that stops thermal throttling, a vastly superior keyboard so your hands don't hate you after an hour, way better durability, and a much longer support lifecycle. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. Stop buying backwards. 2. The 4 laptop categories. 3. Find your perfect match. 4. The 2026 RAM rule. 5. Best value deals. And 6. The ultimate buying hierarchy. All right, jumping right into section 1, stop buying backwards and focus on the job. The absolutely crucial question you have to ask yourself is simply this: what exact job will this laptop perform for the next 3 to 7 years? This single question has to replace spec chasing right from the start. You're not just buying a processor, you're hiring a tool to do a specific job over a multi-year timeline. And let's be real, if the physical tool breaks, having a fast digital brain inside it isn't going to save you. Moving on to section 2, the 4 laptop categories and their true value. First up, we've got the stark contrast between consumer and business laptops. Consumer models, think your IdeaPads or Pavilions, they're really meant for basic home use. They're cheap, they're lightweight, but they're usually wrapped in brittle plastic with cooling systems that barely survive a few dozen browser tabs. Now, contrast that with business laptops like the ThinkPad or the Latitude. These are your true office workhorses. They've got highly durable builds, vastly superior cooling systems, and enterprise-grade security baked right in. And that build quality, it translates directly into lifespan. Just look at this. A typical consumer laptop is likely going to die or become painfully obsolete in about 3.5 years. Meanwhile, a business laptop easily pushes right up to the 6-year mark, and a workstation can survive even beyond that. You might think you're saving a few bucks up front on a consumer model, but you'll literally be buying a replacement years before the business user even thinks about upgrading. Then we have the heavy lifters. Workstation laptops like the ThinkPad P-Series or HP ZBook are built for rock-solid engineering, CAD, and AI research. They offer professional-grade GPUs and ISV certifications. Gaming laptops like your Legions or ROGs excel at 3D rendering and pushing high frame rates with consumer GPUs. But listen, be prepared for the compromises. They weigh a ton, the battery life is usually terrible, and those fans are going to sound like a jet engine taking off during your morning Zoom call. Which brings us to section 3. Find your perfect match by user profile. Let's start with the education sector, where it's all about value and durability. For students, the guide really highlights the $599 MacBook Neo for its incredible battery life and sturdy aluminum body, right alongside the similarly priced Dell XPS 13. And for teachers, the ThinkPad E14 is an absolute lifesaver. It's super affordable, has a tank of a keyboard, and crucially, it has native HDMI and USB-A ports, because nobody wants to be desperately hunting for dongles 5 minutes before a lecture begins. Now, for office workers and business owners, reliability is king. The ThinkPad T14 ranks as the best overall pick because of its easy maintenance and a world-class keyboard. Need something ultra-lightweight? The ThinkPad X1 Carbon is the premium gold standard for enterprise security. And if you're living in the Apple ecosystem, the MacBook Air M4 remains a total powerhouse of silent, all-day reliability. For you software developers out there, the guide reveals something really fascinating. Sure, a brand new MacBook Pro 14 with 32 gigs of RAM is incredible for Unix and Docker. But here is the ultimate insider secret. A used ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10 with an i5 processor and 32 gigabytes of RAM can be found for around $599. That is a vastly smarter, unexpected purchase than blowing thousands of dollars on a marginally faster CPU for your daily coding. For heavy-duty data, AI, and engineering users, you just need massive memory. Models like the Dell Precision 7680 and MacBook Pro 16 M5 Max offer huge memory pools. But check out this brilliant, totally counterintuitive strategy for serious AI engineers. Instead of dropping $4,000 on a massive laptop that's just going to overheat anyway, buy a solid $1,200 laptop for your daily tasks and use the rest of that budget on an RTX 5090 desktop. You do your daily work on the go and just offload the heavy model training to the desktop at home.
All right, Section 4, the 2026 ROM rule, or as we should be calling it, memory over megahertz.
This right here is your non-negotiable gigabyte requirement before you even glance at a processor. A student can get by on 8 gigs, but if you're an office worker, a teacher, or a gamer, 16 gigabytes is your absolute baseline in 2026. Developers, data analysts, CAD engineers do not accept less than 32 gigabytes. And AI engineers, you need to be starting at 64. A mid-range processor with plenty of RAM will easily glide through your multitasking, but a starved processor is going to stutter and freeze every single time. Let's look at Section 5, Best Value Laptop Deals in Cambodia right now. Looking at real-world market data, you can really see these principles in action. The absolute #1 value hits that crucial 32 gigabyte RAM sweet spot for under $600, the used X1 Carbon Gen 10. You also see incredible budget business value in the Ryzen-powered T14 Gen 2. Even the MacBook Air M1 with 16 gigs still holds massive, massive value. These options, along with used P-Series workstations or the Legion 5, give you maximum performance per dollar without buying into the marketing hype of the newest, shiniest generations. And finally, Section 6, the ultimate buying hierarchy for 2026. Here is the ultimate step-by-step hierarchy you need to memorize. The industry works overtime to trick you into putting the processor first, but you've got to flip that entirely. Number 1 is RAM. Ensure you actually have the memory for your job. Number 2 is build quality. Are those hinges going to snap in 2 years? Number 3 is the keyboard, the thing you literally touch every second. 4 is cooling to prevent throttling. 5 is battery life. And only after those 5 criteria are met do you even look at the CPU. To summarize all of this, the guide leaves us with this really powerful thought. A ThinkPad with 32 gigabytes RAM will usually deliver more productivity than a flashy consumer laptop with a faster processor. It is entirely about thermals, ergonomics, and capacity over raw, uncooled speed. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Next time they're shopping around, what shiny marketed specs are you willing to sacrifice to guarantee actual reliable productivity? And more importantly, how much deeper does the tech industry's marketing rabbit hole go? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.